Later that day at Stella Academy, I sat in my first class, waiting for the professor. For someone who had already graduated from university in my previous world, it felt quite weird to be back in school as a high schooler. As I pulled out a pocket watch and looked at it, a sense of satisfaction washed over me. This was a Stella Academy pocket watch, a symbol that proved one was a student at the most prestigious institution. With it, one could receive better treatment and services than even a person who owned a Magic Warrior license. Putting it back in my pocket, I could not wait to go out and use it. The door opened, and a tall, serious-looking man in his mid-30s entered. His face was marked with scars, showing that he was a seasoned veteran. He instructed us to take our seats, put away everything, and informed those wearing glasses that they would be examined. That was when I knew what was coming: the entrance exam. Stella Academy's curriculum was far more rigorous than even Korea's top universities. On the very first day, students were subjected to an exam, a class placement examination. As I was handed the question paper, I had no idea what the hell I was looking at. The class placement exam was separate from the entrance exam and was notorious for its extreme difficulty. Based on the results, students were categorized into different classes, with Class F being the lowest and Class S being the highest. Naturally, most playable characters were in Class S. As for my character, Baekyu-sung, he had placed dead last in the original game. That made me wonder, should I just hand in a blank paper? If I did, I would automatically be placed in Class F. Looking around, I was surprised to see Moo-Yu-sung completely unbothered by the exam. He seemed to be daydreaming. Upon closer inspection, I realized he had already finished. No wonder, living must feel incredibly boring for him. This man's very nature was boredom. Born into the strongest family in the world, possessing the greatest genius, brain, memory, and talent, everything must have felt too easy for him. That was why Flame's actions as the heroine would ultimately decide whether Moo-Yu-sung walked the path of good or evil. The more I analyzed him, the more I realized how delighted the dark demonic humans would be to have such a powerhouse on their side. But his biggest issue was his family to begin with. The more I looked at these geniuses, the more I could not help but compare myself to them. Speaking of comparisons, I began to wonder, could I use the bulbul glasses during this test? In the game, I had used them while at the library. Reaching into my blazer, I pulled them out. I had nothing to lose. Just as I did, the professor turned to me. "Those are glasses?" "No, they are eye covers," I thought, resisting the urge to respond sarcastically. Did not I say that if you are going to use glasses, they need to be checked beforehand? Only then did I recall that he had indeed said so. Reluctantly, I handed over the bulbul glasses. The professor released his magic into them, scrutinizing them deeply. Watching him, I began to sweat. If he detected any magic in them, I could be expelled. Then, out of nowhere, a system notification sounded. "Do you wish to obtain the missing part of the bulbul glasses?" I nearly shit myself. Was the system with me or against me? Why was it telling me this now? As the professor continued his deep scrutiny, I panicked. If the original function of the glasses were active, I would be doomed. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he returned them to me. "There is no mana in these." I let out a silent sigh of relief. "Let's do this. I will not even use a percentage of my brain." The moment I put on the glasses, the answers appeared instantly. At this rate, I could even aim for first place. That meant not only escaping Class F, but possibly even reaching Class S. A few minutes later, the professor suddenly announced that the test was over. I was stunned. Using magic, all the test papers flew toward him. I wasn't ready. I had only completed 3 questions.
A few moments later.
As he glanced through the papers, his expression shifted to one of shock and surprise. Damn it. I knew I had no chance of escaping Class F at this point. Just as I was about to take off my glasses, the professor suddenly shouted, "Give me those glasses this instant." Confused, I did as I was told. He infused his magic into them once more, re-examining them thoroughly. Still, he couldn't detect any magic. Turning to a nearby student, he ordered, "Go call Dr. Graham." I had no idea what was going on. I had not written all the answers accurately to avoid suspicion, so why was he reacting this way? As I started to panic, wondering if I had been caught, an older man entered. "What do you think, Dr. Graham?" the professor asked. Dr. Graham, a professor of magic engineering, examined my bulbul glasses carefully. "The way he solved these answers is quite suspicious," he said. "Did he cheat then?" the exam professor asked. Before he could continue, Dr. Graham shook his head. "I have verified that the glasses contain no magic. He definitely solved the questions using his own ability." The professor looked stunned. "This is a chance I never thought I would see," Dr. Graham added. Then, turning to the exam professor, he said, "Professor Lin Hanwol, apologize to the young man and guide him well." "Understood?" "Understood," he replied reluctantly. Then, facing me, he bowed slightly. "I misjudged you. I truly apologize." Inwardly, I knew I had cheated. If the original function of the glasses had been active, I would have been caught, for sure. But since I wasn't, I accepted his apology. All's well that ends well.